Thank you for tuning in to Andronetalks Radio, gathering as one in our sovereign truth from a galactic perspective, exploring our world with new ideas, knowledge, and a promise of a better future. Galactic discussions for galactic-minded people. Andronetalks.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Andronetalks Radio. And I want to welcome our guests. We have Marcel Seifert. And hello, Marcel. How are you today?
Hello, I'm fine again.
Okay. And hello, Carlos. How are you today? Coming from Florida.
Good. No, Georgia.
Oh, Georgia, that's
Atlanta,
right.
Yes, Atlanta.
I know, they're so close, and you both have this really great weather. So before we get started, I just want to remind everyone, I do have the book, the Andronicus Transmissions, Contact Andromeda. It is available on Westwood Publishing House. And so you, it's a great price. And these, for those of you that were listening to the Andronicus Transmissions years ago, it is now finally available. Book 1, Book 2 will be coming out, and stay up to date with everything that's going on. So anyhow, we're going to get started, and we have some interesting articles that we want to talk about. Does anyone, Marcel, do you have anything that you want to share before we get started?
The decision is yours.
Okay. Not really. I mean, we're here to have a discussion, and you have some quite a bit of articles that you share on a regular basis on Facebook. And why don't you share with everyone the name of your Facebook groups?
Right now, these are many. One of it is called The Real History of Humanity. Yeah. Another one is UFO Uni or Universität. Another one is the Global Search for Underground and Underwater Alien Bases here on Earth. Then I've got the Science, UFO and Border Sciences. Another one is the Apocalypse Zero. Then I've got Mind Masters and Star Whispers in Australia and Indigo Kinder. That's it.
That's quite a bit to keep you busy.
That's for sure, yes.
Are most of them in English or some of them in other languages?
The Science, UFO and Border Sciences is mostly in German. Yeah, and the Indigo Kinder group as well, but all the others are mostly in English.
Okay, now are all your groups open to the public?
Only 2 are not. That's the one in Australia, that's the Mind Masters and Star Whispers. Yeah, because that's the group of my friend Robert Mason, and I'm only an admin there. And the other one that is closed is the German group Science, UFOs and Border Sciences. All the others are open for everyone to have a look at.
Okay. Okay, great. And we'll have those Facebook groups below if people want to join that are available to the public. And also, Carlos, anything that you want to share today? I know you don't have any particular groups.
I don't have nothing much. I've been in the middle of the moving, and I really didn't have much time to get nothing together for today. But
that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. I know your situation, so I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for joining us, and we do have an article here that Marcel brought in about Chile. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So why don't we get started? And I'm going to go into a share screen, and we'll start looking at those articles. And here we go. Okay. So there's a high strangeness. Here's the Pentagon, because the Pentagon's always right. Sort of, but not really, admits it has been testing wreckage from the UFO crashes, and findings may change our lives forever, experts say. So the headlines look exciting, but then you follow through on to the cited documents and the story becomes less clear. So there's a lot of, of course, we expected this vagueness to happen, but the Pentagon has admitted to holding and testing wreckage from the UFO crashes in a bombshell Freedom of Information letter shared with the Sun. Researcher Anthony Brugaglia wrote to the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and requesting details of all UFO material which they hold and results of any tests they had been carrying out on it. He wrote they could include physical debris recovered by personnel of the Department of Defense as a residue, flotsam, shot-off material, or crash material with UAPS, unidentified aerial phenomenon, or unidentified flying objects. In the response shared with the Sun, the DIA released 154 pages of test results that includes reports on mysterious memory metal called nitinol, which remembers its original shape when folded. Brugaglia said it was a stunning admission from the U.S. government, and the documents reveal that some of the retrieved debris possesses extraordinary capabilities, including the potential to make things invisible or even slow down the speed of light. And he told the Sun the Pentagon has admitted to holding and testing an anomalous debris from the UFOs. So I think this is, see if we can open that up any larger. Saying it's a metal-like, soon hold a metal-like alloy material recovered from the unidentified aerial phenomena and would include physical debris. And so they pretty much quoted what was said here. And we're going to include this article so people can go through it. And here was the request. And more about it. They took 3 years for the DIA to fulfill after it was revealed that the Pentagon had been studying UFOs under the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. The article mentioned the anomalous debris, as they said earlier. Freedom of Information Act request was very specific, seeking the results of the UFO UAP debris. So, I mean, we're still trying to pull out this Roswell incident and get some basic information. I mean, for years, 1800s and up, there were articles in newspapers displaying information of unidentified objects. This is prior to our more modern space age, where there were technology was identified as military technology. So, these type of things have been going on for a while, and then it got very hush-hush. And so now this was kind of, I guess, a breakthrough. I guess it's a breakthrough. They're trying to talk about it.
This is some kind of a collaboration between the To the Stars Academy and the Pentagon, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a struggle for them. I don't know why. I mean, I think, are people frightened at this point of UFOs? Maybe they're a little excited about it. Maybe they think it's comforting that it doesn't exist. But it's like, I always say it's sort of like the pink elephant in the room. It's there. It's there, but you don't want to talk about it. And, of course, the ACIO has documented this stuff for years. And they're allowed to start speaking about it. So
but I think President Trump opened a door in some way to the UFO. He declassified a lot of information, and they've been talking more, even in Fox News, Tucker, Carson started talking about it at some point. It's been more open from 2016, I will say. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, he said that he's thinking about releasing some parts of this stuff. Yeah, he's thinking about.
Well, I
But
think
now,
even when Trump was, going to speak publicly, there were some people with him that looked a little unusual. There was a guy that was extraordinarily tall, and
Yes,
I don't
yes.
think that was you, Marcel. I don't know how tall that guy was. He was really, really
That guy
tall.
huge and probably
Yeah.
like 400 pounds.
I don't know.
That guy was huge.
It's been an Anunnaki.
Yeah. It wasn't you though, right? So, yeah, that kind of thing was, going on. There were UFOs or advanced technological vehicles that were kind of around him when he did go to speak publicly on a few occasions.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen any of that with this
And I guess also,
administration. No.
I'm sorry, and also I guess also the Space Force, that is open to me everything, because the Space Force is for what? Something else is going to be, showing up at some point. That's I think
that was the U.S. Space Force, right?
Right. I mean, Trump created, for a reason, is a Space Force for something, that it's going to be show up at some point in the future. That's what I believe.
The Space Force already exists for decades.
Yeah, we know it already exists in the 50s, and it's everything is out there, but just to put it on the public,
Yeah, I mean, here it is.
And all this debris, or most of it, I guess, what they are investigating now is the debris that's coming from their own projects. Yeah. And like my friend John de Sousa, former FBI, said in one of his last interviews, what they are presenting us now as the Tic Tac UFOs and all this other stuff, are not from outside this planet, but these are their own projects, because now they can appear everywhere on the planet with their secret crafts. And tell us, we already said that we don't know what it is,
Yep, this was in January 14, 2021. Well, like I said, it's become a little bit more non-transparent because the technology has advanced so much. But we want to make it look like humans had such brilliant minds and they figured all of this out instead of reverse engineering. And so. But before this advanced technological age, they have been seeing craft. So you have to really know what you're looking for to see the difference. That's why Peter has been very helpful, because it can be a little bit murky trying to figure out, is this, something that the U.S., China, Russia, or some other government has and can replicate or look very, very much like a UFO, because we are not fully disclosed regarding the technology that the governments have right now and what they're able to do, because we'll probably find out in another 50, 70 years, 100 years later. I don't know how long they're going to hold it back, but anyhow.
What about the ACIO insider said to you and that note?
When they will disclose everything?
Yeah. What do you come from the insider part, basically?
And it all depends on what timeline we're going down, because the way that things are changing, like I can talk to Peter one week and then all of a sudden there's like there's this constant changing to our context of existences, and it has changed at least 3 or 4 times since I've known him.
Right.
So yeah, we are in some really weird anomalies, and there are multiple options, opportunities, or whatever we were supposed to have a different administration right now that we don't, but because something shifted, and as Peter said, we lost the war,
Right.
and so this is a
It
galactic
looks
war.
like,
Yeah,
at this point, it looks like we don't
yeah,
look like we're winning.
right. But things, like I said, things are constantly changing, so it can, at any time, it can change into another direction, and so it might, at this point, I keep on asking for something to stay neutral so it doesn't go haywire and volatile. But there's constantly battles and things that I had some very serious incidences, and like I explained, it was sort of like the military hell week, where I was constantly getting attacked. I'd wake up like I was getting beat up. And there was a very serious incident that happened. Peter was nervous and he tried contacting me. And, there was like a few different things that have been going on. And he also has been heavily attacked for the past, I don't know, 4 months or so, from the androids of the Shaw House. So that's, you're dealing with robots, essentially.
Yeah.
So
It's
anyhow,
another ball game. Yeah.
It is another. People don't understand that, I deal with this stuff on a daily basis, and then, they wonder, oh, you haven't done a show in a while. Like, I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, people don't get it. Yeah.
They don't, and I don't expect them to. I just, I try to, keep bringing the information, and when things work out, and we'll probably share more regarding that. But for now, we weren't able to do a show this weekend because of issues that we can't talk about, and then that's going to keep on going on until things settle down a bit, and we hope that's soon.
But what it depend on the timeline that we take, or depend on the higher power, or the consciousness of the people of the earth? What it depend of what?
We had an all-out attack. I mean, there was an attempt by these androids essentially to take over the planet, and they have abilities that are like unbelievable, and they're taking over the Commonwealth and wanting complete world domination. So I mean, there's that's one group, and that's like some of the problems with the Shaw House. Now, Peter's a very advanced military guy who can defend himself, but these things literally show up out of nowhere in his home and they attack him. And so he's like, it's like that I don't know if you've seen that movie Jiu-Jitsu, where the guy just sort of shows up, and before you know it, you're in this battle, and it's something like that. Mm-hmm. And here's
I didn't watch that movie, but I understand basically kind of like any movie of they show, like, I don't know, Doctor Strange, or I don't know, Jupiter Ascending, kind of like, I understand basically what can happen or what is happening. I can imagine that.
I'll show you the movie, and it's like this guy comes out of space, and he's like a jiu-jitsu movie. And I mean, it's not exactly like this, but I mean, it's like they engage in a battle, and there's this entity. Let's see, that's not him. Something like this. So they're somewhat mechanical looking. You can't really hurt them, or you have to figure out ways to hurt them, because they immediately, it's like it has femtotech, and you go to kill it, and then it heals right in front of you. So
like a Terminator kind of thing, the new Terminators and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these things are created. Some of them are from the future. They're here right now. I don't know why. There's some of these beings are here from the future, but they are, and they get into battle, and so it's.
What does the ACIO basically say about it in the bigger scale plan? Because as a human, we're fucked. I mean, excuse me my French, but what are we gonna do? I mean, if something like that appear here, can kill me immediately, right?
That's why the super soldiers are trained, and they're engaging in the astral,
Mm-hmm.
where that they're accessing through, and some of them have avatars or whatever, and they're actually engaging in battle. They've been prepared for some of these things.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, people feel it. You feel it that you've been in some kind of encounter. You have memories, and that's why we've been talking about these things.
Right.
It's because it's not just to say, hey, you know, we're a super soldier and we're trying to impress everyone, or that it's nothing like that. I mean, I think it's more to educate people from my perspective. And I think, you know, to try to impress people at this point is a waste of time. I think it's more or less to discuss the issue of that there's a battle going on that's unseen to the general public, but they feel the effect of it through oppressions and control systems.
And a lot of people, I think, they feel it at night when they wake up tired, like they're destroyed, like something took all the energy. You know, I think like thousands of people, they can relate to that. They don't know what happened. They don't know because they drink too much or they took a pill to sleep or whatever, or just the stress of the day. But they wake up drained, and they have a $5,000 mattress and everything is good in life, but just they don't understand why they're drained.
It's it's something like that, and I think also that you can actually see yourself in battle, and you have details, and then one person will experience something, and then they hear someone talking about it or somewhere else, and they're like, yeah, I was there, and then they say that person was there, and they have full memories of it.
I guess all that we can relate to your channel, we got that memories too, you know, in some way. That's the reason we're here. And we listen to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe so, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are awakening, and people are parts of different types of programs or activities.
Right.
And I you know, we are drawn to our own soul group. So there are people that are drawn to what Peter and I are talking about, are connected to Peter and me or in some way, and you know, especially the people that I invite to speak, I know that they're involved. I mean, even if we haven't talked about it, and you know, in that kind of in like I said, a lot of listeners, they're resonating. They're like, oh yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I had this experience, and so in some way there's they're viewing it, they're experiencing it, they're a part of it. But it's not for ego's sake, and this is where people miss it. It's just not like, hey, I'm the champion, I'm the hero, I'm the savior. It's nothing like that. And when you start getting into that, you're going to get humbled really quick, because you're going to see what it feels like to deal with some of these things that are not from this world, and it's very, very difficult. So I was looking. There was another movie that I said really depicts some of the things that Peter has been going through, and myself also, because, you know, this fight with Monarch, and it's called Kill Command, which is a movie, and Heather Shaw or Vanessa Kirby, she's actually in the movie, but it is you know, this type of thing where they're like a Terminator type of scenario, but imagine a more Android type, and so it's this kind of being that is actually, you know, tracing, watching, observing, tracking what you're doing, replicating what you're doing. She's already an android here, which I thought, you know, I mean, this came out in 2016. You can see her eyes are like theirs. She communicates with them directly in the movie. And so, you know, you're looking at what looks like a thin, not muscular, attractive woman who has an incredible power, because it's not a normal female.
And not a human.
Not human. not fully human. I'm not saying it's like this other aspect. I don't know if it's the avatar of Vanessa Kirby or whatever, but it looks just like her. And yeah, that's been the problem. And Peter was talking about some spiders that he saw. I've seen spiders too, but you can see these robots are like a spider. There's been a lot going on. We haven't talked about it. I don't know how much Peter's going to want to talk about it, but yeah, and we kind of got off onto this other thing, and maybe someday, you know, when things calm down, we can have other guests come on the show, or we can have like open questions and talk more about what was going on there.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So, we're going to go on to that. This is something else that you've seen. There's a string of lights seen floating over the night sky in Charlotte. It's Charlotte, North Carolina. And this is the Charlotte Observer, in case anyone want to know. On the date is February 2nd, 2021. I don't think this is video. Multiple people have reported seeing an odd string of lights at night near Charlotte, igniting the talk of UFOs on social media. Photos shared Saturday on Facebook show that it appears to be a string of lights floating over North Carolina Indian Trail community in the areas in the Union County just southeast of Charlotte. Anyone know what these lights are tonight? And so they're, I think, and this is a footage.
Thanks to Madison Reed, you can forget what you've
Get
heard
this
about
to
at-home
go.
hair color. You've heard it's never as good as the salon.
Get the ad.
Yeah, what's going on, bro? There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not LNS though, is it? It's not. That is LNS, dude. Well, if there's like another thing, it's rotating.
See the way it's moving? It's not a normal movement of a vehicle. And I've even seen vehicles, they jump from one place to another, and that's not a normal path for you know, the average flight of a vehicle.
Like one thing of project. Oh, got it! Woohoo! Roger, there's troubleshooting. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto charge. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly! What the?
So, you know, he's lucky he was able to lock in, and they're not usually able to do that. So I don't know if it goes any further. And the shape of it's odd too. Does anyone want to share any thoughts?
Yeah, this one looks a bit like the one that I've shown last time from Chile, yeah?
Yes, it does. Yep.
These are the ones that the Pentagon presented us in 2017, yeah? And this is a part of this ATIP project that they were running for 5 years, yeah? They spent $20 million on it to investigate this subject deeper, yeah? And if it's their own project or if this is these are extraterrestrials, that's the question.
Right.
As always, you decide.
It says my initial thought when I saw the lights was it was helicopters in the distance, but as the lights got closer, there was no sound. Then they went straight up into the sky and disappeared. No smoke, no debris. I couldn't see anything around the light to suggest that they were not lanterns, but the light flickering like you'd imagine a lantern would look. at least one person posted on social media that lanterns were released last week in the county as a part of a memorial, but it happened the day before the Homewood sighting. Equally strange is the trio of lights that glowed blue in Homewood's photos. Homewood, who lives in Monroe, has no explanation for that, though it's possibly a trick of light. The blue light I didn't notice until after I took the picture. The sky, it did not look blue. It looked like a group of bright lights, she said. I thought it was odd, though, that a few people have seen and photographed the same bluish grouping of lights. So, you know, and they're trying to discount that. You know, I think the average person is trying to be reasonable about this, like almost investigating the whole process and ruling out as a process of elimination that, you know, what this could be, you know, flares, lanterns, drones, Starlink satellites, especially with all the SpaceX stuff. It's just even creating more clutter and more confusion. And there it is. But yeah, some people say they're officially creeped out, and here's the blue lights I think they were talking about. North Carolina ranks high among the states with the most reports of UFO sightings. But there are military bases there too. So...
And we've got these pictures from this possible underground facility at the coast, yeah?
Yeah.
Catalina cases and so on.
There's been a UFO network reported this month that the state had 15 UFO sightings in December. Okay, so all the listeners, we just had some technical difficulties. We're back in, and we're looking at the wild video from San Bernardino, California, that appears to show a mothership with dozens of UFOs surrounding it. And we will have this footage. We're going to share it. I'm going to see if I can do a larger screen here. Let me? No. Well, let me do that. Oh. No. Okay. Well, anyhow. So you see there's a cluster there. It starts off as a cluster, so it's like, is this a mothership? Or maybe it is a mothership, but it's masked. And you can only see the smaller ships that are attached to it are lights. And
what about that theory that I hear on his History Channel when they speak about the UFO, that sometimes it's a big mothership, but they just light, they just show basically a light, like where they coming from, the star system where they coming from, or this whatever, like can be 5 lights, they come from the Pleiades, or 3 lights, they come from Orion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it could be, or it could be, like I said, it could be
or
government.
Sometimes it can be a few. I saw
the government just
also,
kind of trying to, you know, see what people do in response. These lights right here, they start off at a certain brightness, and then they do get brighter. And they mention that in the video. You see this one just brightened up a bit.
Right.
That has a bit of a tail on the light. This one over here as well. I mean, it looks like it's going to land. And, of course, the formation is changing. This one's all over the place. Or is that, I don't know what that is. That might be, maybe that's a reflection or a dust particle, I don't know. But these other ones, see this, I mean, it literally looks like it's, and the source of that is from MUFON. So I didn't put the sound because I don't want to be blocked. Or, you know, sometimes, you know, there's copyright issues and so forth.
Yeah. Is it maybe a mass parachute event? I don't know.
Yeah, we're not going to try to, you know, tell people what this is.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, it's, some people claim that they know all of this. I think Peter is probably the best one to assess these things.
And me of a mass parachute event. I've seen many of them. Yeah, they have something attached to their legs. Yeah, some lights.
I see what you're saying. So a bunch of guys just jumping from somewhere, but you didn't really see where they jumped from, which is weird too. And yeah, it could be that they were doing a night skydive.
They are all falling. If you watch this closely here, they are all falling.
Yep.
Yeah,
like this.
They move in the sky. To me, it looks like a parachute, but it's just a guess. Yeah.
Yeah, we can look a little deeper into this one. There's an interesting thing that's happened, but you can see they get brighter.
I've seen many parachute events, and they are looking similar to what I've seen before.
Yep. So, yeah, and like I said, that they had a certain formation, but and the parachuters do kind of stay together. This one just, you can really see the tail on those. But if it was just a parachute, why would this come from MUFON?
Yeah, it's been sent to MUFON, and then they sent it further. Yeah, it was not
then MUFON. They showed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Organic building block for life found on asteroid surface for the first time. The Japanese Space Agency, JAXA, has confirmed the discovery of two kinds of organic matter on the surface of an asteroid for the first time in human history, in a finding which may unravel the secrets of life on Earth. The researchers conducted a painstaking analysis of material taken from the S-type siliceous or stony class of asteroid called Itokawa, which was visited during the agency's original Hayabusa mission back in 2010. The space rock is believed to be chondrite, a largely unmodified space rock from the primal early days of the solar system, meaning it's been around the block and then some. During its cosmic capers, the space rock was heated to at least 600 degrees Celsius at one point. And so they're kind of taking a look at this asteroid and kind of seeing that, the age and everything, that dissecting and finding organic matter that the asteroid gained, these building blocks long after it had cooled down, indicating the organic material discovered on the space rock evolved over time, drawing in water and additional organic matter as its journey through the stars continued. So this is, they're learning about our star system, and by gathering some of these rocks, some of them just come right on the planet, but see, these are samples, and you can see them kind of inside here. Anyone want to share anything?
Very interesting. At least. Very interesting.
It's roughly 900 particles of the pristine asteroid dirt stored at the JAXA laboratory, and will be continually compared with findings from more recent material extracted from the asteroid Ryugu. Mars striking back, extremely bright meteor ignites wild banter in social media. I don't think that looks like that's a video, but I don't know if that's a video. Befuddled Brits from Scotland and North and Somerset in the south were astonished by a phenomenally bright flash in the night sky, which lasted some 7 seconds and ended with a loud boom, according to some reports. The fireball was so bright it triggered doorbells across the UK shortly before 10 local time, from Manchester to Cardiff, Bath and Milton Keynes, and everywhere in between, with the UK Meteor Network receiving over 120 reports of sightings. And this must be it. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . And that came from, they said, from Mars. There's another perspective of it. I don't know if they're going to show the beginning of it again. So I think it's mostly in the front here. So you see it right there. So let's go back. And there it is right there. It's pretty bright. Caught on cameras. And there it is coming in. Here's another. I don't know exactly where it landed. They don't say. According to the American Meteor Society, fireballs are generally as bright as the planet Venus when observed in this evening or morning, while for comparison, a full moon is magnitude 12.6 and the sun is minus 26.7, or minus 12.6 and the sun is minus 26.7. I first thought it was a bright star on a plane, and then it got bigger and faster, and then a huge flash lit up in the sky. And we're starting to see more of these. Either that or they didn't used to talk about all these asteroids hitting us. It seems like it's happening more. I don't know, maybe because of all the activity that we're putting up, like satellites. If that's creating some irritation from the other galactic communities. That's pretty bright.
We've got about 11,000 of these events each year now. Yeah. And 10, 15 years ago, it was about a few hundred. Yeah. So it's now about 10 times as much of these asteroid sightings that we have now compared to what we had 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. Oh.
Wow. And that could be from, I mean, like I said, maybe we're looking a little bit more intrusive by launching all sorts of stuff out there. Yeah. Or we're breaking down any type of protective barrier that we used to have around the Earth that created a magnetic push off of our field back into space. So there's a few different things that could be going on here.
Because and we're going back to Elon Musk again.
Yeah, well,
he's the guy with the, I believe, going back to what you talk about with Peter and the Shaw House and the Android. This guy is connected with all of that stuff too?
Yeah.
Because he don't want to speak about ET and aliens, nothing. It's just us, we're going to Mars. And we put in thousands of satellites for what?
It's probably the agreement with the government that he's not allowed to talk about that, but they've definitely have financed him, and helped him, or he's helping them. I don't know what the agreement is, but I do know that he has gotten the freedom to launch all sorts of stuff up in space, all sorts of things, not just satellites, but and many of his projects are not successful for some reason or another. I don't know if someone's sabotaging them or they're just not efficient enough. I don't really know exactly, but he also is very
or maybe he's just part of a show, just to put like we're doing something, we're working on something, but on the other side they're doing completely other things, and just to focus to people, to dumbasses, to focus on him, like, oh, he's a god, pretty much.
Yes. Yeah.
He's also not under this Freedom of Information Act, because he's a private corporation, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Freedom of Information Act is only for the projects that are financed by tax money, yeah. So he does not have to report anything to us or to the public, yeah. That's one of the reasons why they do this, yeah. Because if the NASA and all these projects financed by the by tax money, they are all under this Freedom of Information Act, so they have to report all this stuff to us, even if they don't do for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense, and that's why Peter says the corporations are very dangerous later on, because we don't see the governments existing in the future. It's mostly corporations, and they don't have any sense of responsibility to the public. Even if they're putting us in like serious harm, they always feel like they're protected and they can do whatever they want, and don't really have a lot of compassion as to what happens to the population. And so that's where it becomes pretty it becomes pretty scary, you know, because then you feel like there's no control and no one there to monitor things. But I think that's why the information's coming out now for people to awaken to that part and to be more vocal before we get to that point.
The funny thing is that Werner von Braun once wrote a book where he was talking about a guy by the name of Elon who is creating the first Mars colony. That's not a joke, yeah? You can look this up.
Really? When did he write that? Werner von Braun?
I guess it's been in the 60s or 70s. I don't know exactly when it was. But you can bring this up maybe. You just have to Google Werner von Braun, Elon going to Mars. I don't know what his book was called. It's been circling the internet a few years ago, and it's not a hoax, yeah.
Okay, this is good. All right, so 1953 book Mars Project by rocket scientist von Braun predicted a person named Elon would bring humans to Mars. All right. Okay, so Marcel, you brought up this was a great comment, and thanks to this is why you're on the show. You got a lot of information. So in 1953, the book Mars Project by rocket scientist von Braun predicted a person named Elon would bring humans to Mars. Back in October, we wrote about a piece about SpaceX, and the founder Elon Musk announced in 2020 Mars Society virtual convention that SpaceX is planning to send Starship to Mars as early as 2024. And he says, I think we've got a fighting chance. Musk said of making the 2024 Mars transport window. Musk said he hopes to soon use Starship to launch people to the moon and Mars. And so then the SpaceX launched a prototype of an unmanned Starship rocket in December 9th on the company's rocket facility in Boca Chica, Texas. Starship reached its highest height in about 8 miles, crashing the ground, exploding in a huge fireball. Okay, so we know the history of what's been going on. Those of you that, you know, keep track of what's going on with SpaceX. And so, but that's not the reason why. Well, here's a quote from him. Listen, we're all going to die someday. So if you're going to die someday, I'm okay. Do I want to be buried on Mars or Earth? I like Mars. Sounds cool. Born on Earth, dies on Mars. Okay. So he leads us to an important question. Is Elon Musk destined to be a person to bring humans to Mars? And Elon posts in the tweet that destiny, no escaping that from me. The tweet about what he thought was going to happen. Okay, so here is the actual article from the book. It's called Mars Project. It looks like it's in German. Speaking about destiny, did you know that von Braun's 1953 book, Mars Project, referenced a person named Elon that would bring humans to Mars? Pretty nuts. Not if you're a time-traveling Nazi. It's not nuts. They didn't say that. I said that. And Toby was talking about 1953 book called The Mars Project, written by famous rocket scientist Werner von Braun. Dr. Werner von Braun was instrumental in developing Germany's V-2 rocket during World War II. After the war, he emigrated to the United States and became a driving force behind America's space launch vehicles. America's first satellite and the Apollo spacecraft that landed on the moon were launched by rockets designed by von Braun. In the book, Braun imagined that human colonists on Mars would be led by a person named Elon. A few years later, someone pulled the original German manuscript out of the archives to debunk this myth, only to confirm that von Braun did indeed predict he would be called Elon. And there it is. To be clear, Elon isn't the name of the person, but rather the name of the position, which von Braun describes as something like an elected meritorical leader or president. It is most likely that Braun took the name Elon straight out of the Jewish Old Testament Bible, where Elon was the name of one of the 6 minor judges of Israel. If you're interested in reading more about the book, you can find it on Amazon. The never-before-printed science fiction novel by the original Rocket Man, Werner von Braun, combines technical fact that the human storyline in the way that only a true dreamer can realize, encompassing the entire story of the journey. The novel it's a novel, so it moves from the original decision for a Mars mission through the mission planning and the building of the mighty spaceships, the journey, the amazing discoveries made on Mars, and the return home. The author's attention to the actions and feelings of the characters, both those who went and those who stayed behind, makes this an adventure of human proportions rather than merely another fanciful tale. This exclusive von Braun treasure comes complete with an appendix of his original technical drawings made in the 1940s in which the story plot is based. So, I mean, he's the one that really created the U.S. NASA space travel to the moon and to all of these other things. And here's Elon Musk showing up, and the name Elon being mentioned in the book on page, it looks like 391. So, and I would think that they have it written in American or English as well on Amazon. So it's probably written in a few different languages, I would think, but it's probably quite an interesting book. And the futurists that they were, like I said, I don't know where the American space projects would have gone without these paperclip scientists. But maybe not as advanced. I don't know. All right, so that was the last article. And by the way, here again, Elon Musk says that there's no direct evidence for alien life, which we know is, following the narrative there. But so here, all right, so here's a pink UFO that was seen over New York and New Jersey, and I think Marcel, you said that we're going to take a look at it, and you're going to tell me what people had discovered regarding it.
NASA said that this is an exhaust from a rocket launch. Yeah.
Okay. It's very pink, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't know what kind of fuel they're using these days.
Yeah. It is a little unusual looking. Yep, and all different people taking pictures of it. The glowing object was seen before and during and after sunset. So it's like there's no clouds in the sky either. There's no chemtrails.
Nothing. Yeah, it's clean.
I mean, it's big too.
Yeah, it looks a lot like what I saw in Chile in 1985. But the other one was a little more orange. I had the pictures of those.
Something about the ionization. Oh, look at that. What's that? Let's check out the tweets. What are they saying there? It's all in Spanish, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Something about Puerto Rico.
We'll go back to that and you can tell us what they said. See?
They're reporting about the same light on Jersey and also in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And they're just taking investigation about it. That's what it said in the tweet.
Okay, so what do you guys think? It could be exhaust.
That's a
and
UFO
I don't
for me
see
now.
I don't see any other craft, but it could be, maybe there's something there, but hidden, and they couldn't hide the exhaust. I don't know. Maybe not. I just want to be objective. That does look weird. Super vibrant. It looks completely unreal. Yeah. Any other thoughts, Marcel?
It makes sense that there are no chemtrails to see around, because when it's really been a rocket launch, all the planes are guided away from it or around. They have to fly another path.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on to the next one. This one, Marcel. It was over Sweden. And
that's my favorite sightings, because it's not a hoax. And they have the interview to it from the people who watched the video.
yeah, I'm going to shut down the sound so we can see. You can talk.
And he was riding with his sister. He was on some kind of a slide behind her motor ski, or what is it called, or quad. Yeah. And then he saw on the left side, you can see a UFO. And then he called his sister to stop. Yeah. And then it looks like the UFO was hiding between these two trees there, the larger trees there standing. Yeah. And then a few seconds later, it flew away with an enormous speed, very low to the ground, and then over the trees. Yeah, this is awesome footage.
I think they're trying to show it, but it's hard to see what they're pointing at. Do you know? You said it's over here somewhere? Oh, there? Is that it? There it is.
Yeah, to the left side where the trees are.
Yeah.
And the closer they come, it's lying behind the trees.
Yeah.
It looks like it's hiding out of their view behind the trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it starts flying through the whole scene. Yeah. And over the trees. This is one of the best footages I've seen so far.
Yeah, it just sort of disappears. So I think and he goes out further. So we'll go further in that, and now he's going towards it, right?
Yeah, now you can see how it's hiding behind the trees.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, there it is. Was that?
And then,
Wait a minute. Let's see. It's right in here. And then you see something. That there it was. Did you see it?
And if you can
Let's
see
see.
the
You see that right there? Right in here.
Yeah, and then it flies across the whole scene. And on the other side, you can see it flying over the.
Yeah. And then just went back over here.
And you can see it flying between two trees. Yeah, where it goes up.
Oh, there it is, right there. Yep.
Yeah. And then it makes a turn upwards. Yeah, not to crash into the trees over there.
Yeah, you can see it again. It moved fast too, doesn't it? Because I know they have this really slowed down. You can see it was metallic looking. You can see the reflection.
Yeah, you see the reflection from the sun of it, in one scene.
Yeah. Let's see that was. Right there. Did you see that? I don't know where. It's very hard to kind of catch it.
Yeah.
But it was around here. Maybe he'll show it again. There it is.
Right there, right there.
Right there. Yep. It's almost like I'm going to try to pause it right when it happens. Ah, just missed it. There it is.
Right there.
And saucer shape.
Yeah, it would be very
Very silver, very metallic looking.
Yeah.
That's the average size that most UFOs were reported. It's about 30 feet, I guess, yeah. 30 or 40 feet in diameter.
I mean, it's moving really fast because he's got this slowed down quite a bit. And then just to slow that down was even hard with this.
It goes up over the, have you seen it going up over the trees? Yeah.
Yeah, there it did again. Yep. It's just it's dodging him, trying to get out of the way.
It almost crashed into the trees on the other side, yeah.
But it's moving quick.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You can't see me. Wait a minute. I'm just going to, there it is. Look at that. That's crazy.
First it's hiding in between the right tree, then it's hiding between the left tree.
Yeah.
see now. Go to the other side, to the other tree. Yeah.
And it's got, you know,
Lovely.
they've
Then it goes, yeah.
the
And
control
the
to
other
just kind of just,
jumps up, and now it makes it turn upwards. Look at.
yeah.
Woo-hoo. That's
It
cool.
the control that it has to be able to maneuver, to stop on a you know,
Yeah.
second, and then that was interesting. Here's the next. This is Dr. Roger Lear, who is the foremost expert in alien implants. He passed away in March 2014.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so we're I don't know what this, if this article says anything, but we're just gonna.
It was
Okay.
the front of what appeared
I
to
need to shut down the audio.
That's the famous sighting over the Sea of Marmaris in Turkey. Yeah, and this UFO appeared several times in different forms over a period of maybe, I guess, 10 years. Yeah. It started in 2003 and then 4, and then another sighting was 2006, and then 2007, 2009. Yeah. And Dr. Roger Lear went there in 2009, and also they taped it.
I'm trying to find the feature that allows me to share this without audio.
The footage was sent to the University of Istanbul in Turkey, yeah, and they confirmed it not to be a hoax.
So we'll go like this. All right, so
You can see the aliens in some kind behind some kind of a window, yeah.
yeah,
There are three aliens from probably from 2 different races, yeah. They made a special analysis on these pilots inside these UFOs, yeah. They stabilized the footage with programs, and then you can't. First, you could only see the 2 larger heads from one race, yeah. But behind these 2 or next to these 2, there is
you can see that one right there. You see that?
There's another reptilian-looking one also, yeah. So
Yeah,
it
it looks like the
these
eyes
are-
right there.
It looks like these are 2 different races of aliens on this ship. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're trying to really go in there and analyze this because, you know, for obvious reasons. And this was found where, did they say in the beginning? You said?
The city is called Kumburgaz in Turkey. Yeah. And this UFO was hovering over the Sea of Marmaris.
Is that anywhere near the Busagi Mountains?
It's no. It's
Yeah, on the another direction.
yeah. And the Sea of Marmaris is a part of the Middle Sea, yeah, or Mediterranean.
So they're just showing the process of trying to evaluate what this is.
Yeah, you can even see the heads moving of these
Yeah.
guys. Guys, yeah. And another
Yeah, it's
creature
going back and forth in here.
and another creature that's moving behind us, these 2 in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably these are the pilots, the 2, or I don't know. Yeah. And this is maybe the bridge of this ship.
So looking at these, this is the window here. And so they're going through the whole process, and you can see, yeah, it's moving, it's changing, but it's right in here. I guess, like I said, we'll have these linked so you can see that's moving.
From Vimeo, yeah, and so segment 9. Watches.
That's what the ship looked like. You see that?
Yeah. It's not only been the same ship, yeah. That the other one, some were smaller, some larger. One had a smaller window, yeah. That's the one with the larger window where you can see these creatures behind, yeah. And you can just search, or the listeners can search for the Kumburgat's case in Turkey. There are many videos.
What is this right here?
Or that's another sighting that has nothing to do with that's coming from Mexico, maybe. I don't remember if I remember this correct. It was
kind of weird looking too, wasn't it? Almost looks like a man there.
That was presented by Jaime Maussan. Yeah, if you know him.
No, I'm not familiar with him.
He's an investigative journalist in Mexico. Yeah. And he's got his own TV show, and they are presenting UFO sightings every Sunday in the main time from 8 o'clock in the evening to 9:30 or something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's okay for, Mexico's okay with it.
That so in Mexico, this is the subject totally normal, yeah. They are also treating this stuff way more openly than other countries, yeah. And you can search for Jaime Maussan. He's got hundreds of videos on YouTube, not only in Spanish, but also in English. Yeah.
The reason why I brought this in is because Peter has talked about these earthquake or these eruptions coming from volcanoes having something to do with sometimes motherships launching or crafts. I don't know if they're using the volcanoes as a exit out from in the inner Earth or what they're doing, but
also in Mexico, you have always a problem in spelling this. The Popocatépetl volcano.
Yeah.
And when you go to YouTube and search for UFOs over Popocatépetl, there are dozens. They were all filmed by webcams, yeah, because around this volcano, this is also a very active one, yeah. And we have dozens of sightings where you can see cylinder ships going into the volcano, yeah, saucers flying around, ships coming out of the volcano, yeah, and this is all presented in the mainstream news on on the TV in Mexico, yeah.
So in here, well, this is the one that's in the capital of Germany, March 6, 2021. It just happened north of Berlin. That's where you're at, isn't it?
Yeah, it's from my country, but it's, I said before, I'm about 7 kilometers away, about 500 miles approximately. Yeah, and I'm in the middle southwest of Germany, and this is Berlin is more the northern east part. But I've been there twice.
It was about 290 million years ago, at a time when today's continents had not yet developed, and the supercontinent of Pangaea formed reasonably solid ground. And that's what opened up the discussion we had earlier too about this super this area that covers all of Europe and goes over to Poland. Would you say from Spain to Poland?
Yes, there's a large so-called magma plume or plum. I don't know how to pronounce it. underneath the whole middle of Europe, and from stretches from Spain to Poland. It's about 3,500 kilometers long. This is 2,000 miles approximately, or a bit more, and it's a few hundred kilometers wide. But it's very deep. It's a few hundred kilometers below the surface, and it's not about to break out or to harm us in any way. Probably it never will. It will never blow off. We can't say this. It depends on how the plates are moving around. Because we are on the so-called Eurasian plate. And upcoming is the African plate. That's why we have the Alps in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
Because the plates are crushing together in this area, and that's why this whole mountain area is coming up called the Alps.
I recently talked about Cascadia in one of my shows, but I didn't realize that they also have this volcano, and that's something to look at too. This is the Europe's most dangerous supervolcano is reawakening, and that was it's about 4 years old. This is Mount Vesuvius. We know that Italy's had some problems, and so this is probably part of that group that you were talking about. This is just only one section of it, but Italy's been quite active. The burning fields in Italy and the volcanic winter. As you can see, there's things happening in our Earth. Yeah.
We've seen that many volcanoes blowing off in the last couple of months. But that's what I predicted a few months ago, because we had the strongest CME since for 5 years, I guess, or 3 or 5 years. That was back maybe in September, if I was correct. And the day when we had the CME, I was making a post saying, guys, there will be lots of earthquakes coming and volcanic eruptions because of this large CME that we had, and it didn't even took 2 weeks or 3 weeks after when this Kilauea in Hawaii erupted.
Yeah.
And other stuff. Now we have the Etna blown off. Got in the Indonesian area, where we had several larger earthquakes up to 7.4, almost 8. And this is, to me, this is a result of this large CME that we had back last year.
It says here, new hints of volcanism under the heart of northern Europe. Scientists have discovered new evidence of active volcanism next door in some of the most densely populated areas of Europe. To study crowd-sourced GPS monitoring data from the antenna across Western Europe is to track subtle movements in the Earth's surface thought to be caused by a rising subsurface mantle plume. And you had mentioned the plume. Scientists have discovered new evidence for active volcanism next door to some of the most, that was a repeat of it. Okay, the Eifel region lies roughly between the cities of Aachen and Trier and Koblenz in western central Germany, and is a home to many ancient volcanic features, including the circular lakes known as Mars, which is interesting. There are the remnants of violent volcanic eruptions, such as were created in Lacher Sea, and the largest lake in the area. The explosion that created this is thought to have occurred around 13,000 years ago, which is with a similar explosive power to the cataclysmic Mount Pinatubo eruption in 1991. So we've had these problems in the past, obviously in different parts of the world, and including there's Luxembourg, Eastern Belgium, southernmost province of Netherlands, Limburg.
Yeah, they are talking about the area of Eifel, yeah,
Yeah.
just like you said, Koblenz, and there's still lots of, in some places there is methane, the gas methane, coming out of the earth, and you can follow the ants. Yeah. The ants very much like methane gas. And
Really?
they are building their home, or their, what is it called in English? You know what I mean? Where they have their whole community. They are building these ways in the area where this methane still comes out of the earth, because maybe they are addicted to it, or they like they are somehow there's a turn. They are turned by gas. I don't know, but we also had similar stuff. You all know the Oracle of Delphi in Greece. Yeah.
Yeah. Oracle of Delphi. Yeah.
Or Delphi, yeah, in English. And this is also an area where there's volcanic activity. Yeah? And there's also coming methane out of the earth, and some claim that this Oracle of Delphi, that their visions, the visions that is being had, yeah, that this was a reason or this was caused by the methane that's coming out, yeah.
So if it brings maybe some hallucinations, or kind of puts you in an altered state.
It can cause hallucinations, like when you have an overdose of mercury, for example. Yeah, it's similar.
So a lot of them must have been sick in some of these oracles. They must have gotten sick from this.
Yeah, probably the vision that they had came from this methane gas that's coming out of the earth, from these plumes.
Interesting. Here's European Cenozoic volcanic province is not caused by the mantle plume. So, and then they're saying they're arguing back and forth about what this is doing and how it's affecting, or whether it's not as affecting or being caused by the plumes. So this is just another article. This was an interesting thing. Another something that's going on in your hometown. Maybe not really, but your home country.
Yes,
Marcel,
that's what you brought, what you sent me today. Yeah, I can't say much about it because I did not hear or haven't heard something about it. This is in the state of Bavaria. It's a bit south from me.
Yeah.
And there's somehow an asteroid crashed a few thousand years ago. And we know that these crashes always causing the production, or the one reaction is that from the pressure, from the high pressure and from the high temperature that such impacts are causing, the diamonds were created, in such impacts.
So I was just trying to encourage you to maybe consider moving there. I don't know. It just crossed my mind.
But it's only diamond dust. Yeah, it's very, very small particles of diamond, so it doesn't make a sense to.
That must be it right there, right? That's the location where it.
It doesn't make sense to start any mining facilities there, because it's only that these diamond particles are very, very, very small. Yeah, they're just dust, and the efforts to get this stuff out of the ground or out of the rock would be way more expensive than the money you can make of it.
Did you see that they filmed that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in this town?
What was it?
Well, that's that children's show where, you know, they're looking for this golden dollar that enables you to go visit the factory. So there's money involved.
Yeah.
But it looks like a nice little town, very quaint.
Yeah, and I guess the town was partly placed into this crater.
Oh, so the actual town is in part of the crater.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, and there's also
Well, I
museum.
think there's some of the
museum, but it's closed because of the crisis that we have. Yeah.
there it is right there. Is she mining right there? I think she's doing a little bit of mining.
Yeah, I've been watching part of this, and I just told her what she said. Yeah, that these particles. Now she's showing this diamond.
Micro diamonds, yeah.
Micro diamond dust. Yeah, that's what I translated.
Interesting. Okay, so I mean, just some interesting little trivia and a tribute to your country here, because we talk about Chile, we talk about Germany, and we talk about the U.S. And so I think that's the end of our articles. Yeah, because we covered all. Oh no, we have this one other last one from Hawaii. That was a UFO over Hawaii.
That was October 24th last year.
UFO sightings of 2020. A glowing blue blob streaked across the night sky and crashed into the waters of Oahu on December 29th.
Oh.
And many people on the ground saw the blue flying object, because we were talking about blue lights, right? The other one was blue.
That's a different sighting then.
Here it is.
I was talking about the one in October.
Oh, okay. So this was a different one.
Doesn't matter.
Well, maybe next time we can bring in that other one.
There's stuff going on over Hawaii all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And that looks a little strange.
The Hawaiians funnily are calling some of them the water collectors. Yeah, because there's nothing new to them. Yeah, to the Hawaiians, because many times they see them somehow collecting water or coming out of the water, flying into the water. On for centuries, nothing new to them. Yeah.
I've heard about that in Puerto Rico too. There were
Yes, same
a
thing.
friend of mine told me that they would just be by the coast and watch spacecrafts come out of the water, go up, and then they don't say anything. They don't bother the people technically, unless the people react weird about it.
We've got these underwater and that's why I founded this group on Facebook. Yeah, the global search for underground and underwater alien bases, because they are everywhere.
Right. I think there was one. Is there one under Cuba? I think there might be one under Cuba, or
yes.
maybe it is Puerto Rico. I don't know. But
Puerto Rico, I think too. Also, I hear about that.
Where was that?
Puerto Rico, I think.
Puerto Rico, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen eyewitness reports from people from Cuba, seeing these objects underwater, lights underwater moving.
You see there's like a red light here, there's blue, then there's another, color temperature of whatever they're doing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us back off of this. Let's get rid of the shared screen. And I think we had some interesting things, and you guys did a great job. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, ideas, information, and we appreciate you being here.
You're welcome. A pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, until next time. Yeah?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Marcel, Carlos, for being here. And until next time, we will continue bringing you information. And so we can all learn, grow, and be able to start comparing and understanding what's going on in our world a little more. Thank you very much and have a good day.
You have been listening to Andronetalks Radio. Join us on YouTube channel Jessica Arael Morocco and visit her website at www.readingsbyarael.com.